In May of 1945, President made a real monumental announcement. German officer said that Germany is losing the war and that those of us who are still living will soon be liberated by the American army. It sounded heavenly, but we didn't believe that it was true. We thought that they were just giving us hope and then that they will kill us. We did, however, see German guards climbing down from the towers, taking off their uniforms, dropping their weapons, and running away into the forest. And after not seeing any guards for about an hour or so, a group of other young boys like myself, we were about the only ones in the camp that could walk. Everybody else was so emaciated they couldn't even walk. We tore through a wire fence and we walked to a warehouse which was about 100 feet, 100 yards from where we were. And when we walked into the warehouse, it seemed inconceivable. Because in the camp, just 100 yards away from where we were, hundreds of people were dying of hunger every day. And here in this warehouse, there are mountains of food, cheese and butter and bread and meat products and sugar. Everything that you needed to save life was there, except the desire to do so. Like a wild beast, I ran up to the first item of food, which was a little bucket of marmalade. I tore off the lid of the marmalade. I started pouring this marmalade into my mouth like an animal. I had the marmalade all over my face, all over my jacket. I found bread and cheese. I ate it. I put it into my pockets, into my shoes, just everywhere, and went running to give it to my father. My father ate a little bit of this food, and my father said that just in case it's true what the German officer said, that we need to walk out of the camp and go to a highway so we can be quicker discovered. With the help of other boys, they helped me drag my father like a sack of flour. My father was just totally disintegrated. We dragged my father for about an hour and a half, and we came to a highway, like say Highway 59. And we laid on the side of the road, and we were a sight that was unimaginable. We looked like skeletons who died and came back to life. We lay there for about an hour, and we started hearing the rumblings of tanks. And when the tanks got closer, we saw the most beautiful sight that we had ever seen. We saw an American tank with an American flag on this tank. And when the tank came closer, I walked out into the middle of the highway with my arms stretched, and the lead tank stopped, and a very young American soldier jumped off the tank. He looked at me, and he started crying, and he said, "Oh my God, how can human beings do this to other human beings?" And out of his pocket, he pulled out a Hershey candy bar, milk chocolate with almonds, and he gave it to me. Well, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of Hershey candy bars. They're all every place that they shouldn't be. Can you imagine how the world is? I started for 5 years, and now I'm dieting. I am actually passing out, eating Hershey candy bars. Through an interpreter, I found an American military physician. I told him that my father is going to die if he doesn't get some attention. And about an hour later, an American military ambulance came. They took my father and me to a hospital in a city called Wels in Austria. This hospital was run by nuns. These nuns were wonderful to us. They bathed us, they cleaned us, they shaved our lice-infected bodies. We were given medication. We got food. And for the first time in 5 years, we were laying in clean beds, side by side, free. A few days after the liberation, while we were in the hospital, my father said to me that I am going to live in a paradise. My father said that when mankind sees what hate, what prejudice do to people's actions, that people will start respecting each other, loving each other, regardless of their race, religion, or nationality. If my father was living, he'd be very disappointed because nothing much has changed. People are still killing themselves, always because of the same three reasons. The worst thing is yet to happen to me. On June 5th, 1945, exactly 30 days after the liberation, when I woke up in the morning in the hospital and I reached out to touch my father's hand, my father was dead. And losing my father after 5 years of agony, 5 years of a relationship which is impossible to describe. My father has done so many things to spare my life. He starved, he connived, he did everything imaginable to make sure that I survived. The little bit that I did seemed nothing in comparison. I stayed in the hospital 3 months. I walked out of the hospital with other kids my age to come to the United States. And we were brought to the United States by a group called the United States Children's Committee. This was a group of 400 families in New York who were going to bring in 400 orphans under the age of 14 to the United States and give us an opportunity to get an education. I was interviewed with another boy next to me, and this lady asked this boy, when you come to the United States, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? He says, well, my father was a cabinet maker. I want to be a cabinet maker. Then she said to me, how about you, Walter? What do you want to be? I said, well, my parents always made a living using their minds. I would like to get an education, and I promise that I'll never be a burden to anyone. She liked my answer, and I came to the United States. So kids, every single day that you go to school now, you are building your future. Everyone who loves you and everyone that you love is hoping that you are learning good things here in school so you can be the future of our world and better.